How's it going, YouTube? Liam from Liam's World Australia, and welcome to a little inside look at the configuration and the work behind the new channel's intro. And so this is the actual sign itself, and this is what it looks like on the video, like that. So the entire work behind well, the idea that came from this work was back in Monday, I guess. Then on Thursday at 8:30, after when I got home from racquetball, I then got started on working on this. And I started the Australia word first, and then when it got to about 11:30, I had to shut down the computer so then I can get some sleep. And this basically, all that took all day, but it didn't end up like what it is now. Like, it didn't have any of the chiseled nether quartz nor the diamond blocks in this area. It was more the actual normal nether quartz, like block of nether quartz when you get it. And this is actually the first time I've actually tried out the nether quartz block and the different types of blocks that are used with it. I never seen it before, and I never found any nether quartz in the nether before, so this is the new experience and location here. So yeah, so anyway, let's get started with showing you around of where where the button starts off this work and where it leads. So with this pressure plate right here, this is where it sets off this redstone wire, and then it leads the wire down here, and it splits into two. Which one goes that way? Goes that way. I think the sun is setting, so we'll change the clock. Alright, so this side it leads to this bit here, and over here, this is where the actual redstone wires really take more of a split. So here is where the entire fireworks go off. So I have dispensers filled with different colors of fireworks, and the way that they're set off is by minecarts, and by pressing these buttons it activates and executes the fireworks to go up. And because that there are redstones back here, the cart goes back and forth, making that sort of repeat motion that makes the rockets and the fireworks go off without stopping. And if we head down this way, this long path of redstone, all this leads to the actual bit here, and this is the entire configuration of the sign itself. And many of you may be thinking, this looks very complicated, and I will admit that beginning this excuse me, it really was. It was complicated at the start, especially when working on the Australian letters. It took a while to really sort of get all the actual block for the letters to work, and it took a little while, but then as the time progressed, it really started to get better and better. And then when we headed to the Liam's World line, that took a little bit of while to get working with some of the big L and the big W. That took a while to sort of get that working, and then with the other letters it was sort of easier. But then it came to the head, which was a bit of a challenge. But when I got the idea, it then sort of took much easier, and then it got the entire head working. So all the letters work, and with the head, around the head, right? Instead of the iron blocks being there, I originally planned to have just gold blocks there, but I thought, nah, that does sort of not look good. So then I decided to switch it to iron blocks, and it sort of worked for me. And then the nether quartz block, it just stayed there. Then the golden outline sort of came when I was working on the Liam's World, the Liam's World line. While while I was working on that, it then sort of came an idea that I just use the gold as the outline, and it sort of stuck with that for a bit. The next thing was, of course, the Lian's World line. Like that section was like, it was challenging. I mean, it was complicated in some places. I had to sort of like stretch the entire sign out, and it didn't look like that. It didn't look like this wing-looking shape when I was stretching this out, because when I was trying to put the letters in, it was sort of not fitting. Not all the letters were fitting in, so I had to stretch it out, and this is sort of how it ended up. And then I worked on the actual sort of the winged-looking sort of nether quartz shape at the mirror end. But then, of course, was getting the sort of connecting up all of the wires from the fireworks to both of the lanes and the floors of both of the redstone constructions and the techniques, and put them all, connecting them up all together so that it works sort of all at once, even though that the words are a bit out of time. And so the next thing is that I had to think of how am I sort of like going to pull this off, and I thought sand and gravel, basically sand first and then gravel sort of came in next. And the way that I've done that was I've actually have the micro version on my iPhone, and I sort of tested out an experiment where I placed a sand on top of either a dirt block, for example. So if I get a flower and a sand, so if I place the flower here and have the sand up here, see how that it just goes into a block where you can actually pick up while it's on the ground. The iPhone version, when it was like this, it didn't end up like that, it just disappeared, and that's sort of how then it came to plan to sort of make like, not sort of a disappearing act, but sort of like not having them like stack up and sort of get in the way of the word. So I made different lanes, so I made a lane of flowers, so that if you can hear the bats, it's just because most of the areas that I have been had to cover up a lot of caves to actually make this work, and this is sort of how it ended up. When I was because I had to make a new world to sort of started this all, I am in creative and I had to use cheats to sort of make sure that I get light and skip the days to like morning, etc. But the first thing I started off was, of course, the head, and I had to sort of shape out the head itself. So the head is an 8x8 square shape, but the thing is that the trouble was that it was sort of out of line, because both the Lian's World and the Australia lines itself, it was all an odd number, like the actual shape was an odd number. So if you were thinking like it's sort of, the head is sort of not in the exact middle, but well, because the head is an 8x8 and that's an even number, while the rest are just odd number lines. So basically that's sort of the thing that I had to like not mind in that, and sort of carried on with basically getting it all together. Then the next thing, of course, I placed in order sand, gravel, sand, gravel, and sort of filled the entire letters, including the head, filled them all up with the pattern of sand, gravel, and just filled it all up, and then it was basically good to go. I had a few issues where when I stand on the pressure plate, the entire words pushed the sand and gravel out, but there was no fireworks. I had to figure out what was going on a couple of times. So in most cases there were some technical difficulties with the redstone, but then of course there was my silly brain of forgetting of placing carts on the redstone rails. I forgot what they were called. What were they called? Powered rail and detector rails. Yeah, I keep forgetting to put them down there, so that was a little bit of my fault in some cases, but this is how it all finished and how it all ends. And then of course the fireworks going. But anyway, So that's pretty much all how this entire sign works, and that's pretty much all I have to show you guys. So the amount of redstone and the amount of redstone repeaters I've used, out of estimate, I reckon I would have used at least more than 300. I probably might be more, or probably a little bit less, but I don't know. Once when I finish recording, I'll do an exact count, which good luck with me. And so yeah, I'll do an exact count, and once when I get my final number, then I will show it to you guys. So here is how the final look works. That's all I have time for, basically. So thanks very much for watching this sort of little behind the entire redstone wiring and all the sort of technical stuff that has gone into this. So if you guys did enjoy it, then make sure you click that like button, click the subscribe button for more videos or something like that. Leave me if you guys want to see more of these behind the scenes stuff, or some of the the big projects that we might work sometime later on, then make sure you post it in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Liam from Liam's World Australia. Until then, next time, Liam out.